but at the moment, the SNP are still standing in their way.
Well, we're joined now from Glasgow by the First Minister of Scotland, Alex Salmond. Alex Salmond, your manifesto, it promises a referendum on independence. Is there any reason to believe that any more than the last time you promised it?
Within the 5-year term, we'll put forward the proposal for a referendum.
That's what you said last time.
Yeah, but we couldn't get it through, Jeremy. I think we lost 3 parliamentary votes in it in the last 4 years. I think the advantage we'd have, we're going to have more seats, and but also we'd have a democratic and moral authority. If we're elected a second time on this with this mandate, then I think even the most vigorous of our unionist opponents might find it difficult to gainsay the right of the Scottish people to have a decision on our own constitutional future.
Now, you're going to spend an extra £1 billion on the NHS. You're not going to charge people, students, fees to go to university. You're not going to have prescription charges and the rest of it. I mean, I don't know whether you know what the weather's like down here, but are you in some sort of microclimate up there or what?
Well, we run government a lot better than you do down there, Jeremy. We've had to balance the books, for example, over the last 4 years in Scotland. Over the last 4 years, the Westminster government was singly unable to balance the books. So if we've done it for the last 4 years, we can do it for the next 5 years. It's going to be tough, it's going to be difficult, but we've demonstrated we can do it, and we'll continue to do it.
Isn't the truth of the matter that you can afford to make these pledges because they're exactly as much worthwhile as your pledge, for example, to cut class sizes to 18 pupils per class, which you never achieved?
Well, we made very substantial progress on that, Jeremy. I mean, class sizes are at an all-time low in Scotland, but I mean, let's think of some of the things we did achieve, like freezing the council tax, putting an extra 1,000 police on the streets of Scotland, a 32-year low in recorded crime in Scotland, the small business bonus, ending prescription charges. You'll have to decide whether you think the Scottish Government is doing too much good for the people of Scotland, which you resent, or alternatively, you want to dwell on the things we didn't manage to achieve. I think the general balance of opinion, as you can see in the opinion polls at the present moment, is that the Scottish Government, the SNP government, over the last 4 years did not a bad job, which is why we are in such a good position to get a refreshed mandate for the next 5.
And if you do such a thing, will you promise that you will implement everything you've got in your manifesto? Make a promise now.
Well, this last 4 years, we managed to implement 84 out of 94 key manifesto pledges.
No, I'm not talking about the last one. I'm talking about the current one, the one coming up.
There was a logical train to my contribution, Jeremy, which was that...
Really?
Well, listen to the argument, then you can patronise it afterwards. What I was going to suggest was that some of the things we were trying to do, we couldn't get a majority in Parliament for. I mean, for example, we put forward a proposal for a minimum pricing on alcohol to tackle head-on Scotland's problem with the booze. We couldn't command a majority because all of the other parties opposed us. Now, we hope in measures such as that, Jeremy, we'll put them forward again. We'll put forward the legislation that with a refreshed mandate, we'll get that vital social measure through for the people of Scotland.
And just while you're there, on a topical matter, I know you don't have as much control as you would like over foreign affairs. What's your position on the decision to send soldiers to Libya today?
Well, we supported the United Nations resolution, and as long as the action by the Allied forces in Libya stays within the confines of the United Nations resolution, then we'll continue to support the action as being the best prospect of assisting humanitarian efforts in Libya and saving the lives of civilians. So we'll continue to follow the precepts of the United Nations, which, of course, unlike many other parties, is what we've always done in terms of international engagement, Jeremy.
So, to be clear about this, you do not consider this to be so-called mission creep. You think it's within the terms of the United Nations resolution?
Well, I think you'll find that Angus Robertson, a leader in Westminster, was the first person to ask the Prime Minister directly about the dangers of mission creep. But insofar as this stands, a dozen or so observers, it does not, in my opinion, move outside the confines of that resolution. And
just one other question. Gordon Brown's candidacy for the IMF, do you support him?
I've not even thought about it. I wish him well for whatever life he chooses outside politics. He has my best wishes, but I'm not certain that my personal endorsement would carry him far in the IMF Board Selection Committee, Jeremy.
Well, it doesn't mean it's not worth having. You're a very modest man.
Well, he hasn't asked for it yet, Jeremy, but perhaps the phone call awaits after Gordon sees this interview.
OK, thanks a lot.
Great pleasure.